Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Loaded show. Yanni couldn't make it. He had a previous engagement. So Carm is jumping in at the end. We're going to talk a little soccer, but it's Friday, so we got to bring in Teddy Covers. We got to bring in Marco. Teddy's going to be breaking down a few MLB games. Marco's going to be breaking down a few WNBA games after. I don't want to be prison in the moment. I think that was the best WNBA regular season game I have ever seen last night between the Fever and the Aces. We'll get his thoughts, and we got to get Teddy's thoughts on the Hall of Fame game. There is no play of the day. The play of the day has been cursed this week. We lost a few of them. I had a super confident one yesterday in UFC, and then the fight got canceled. So sometimes the universe just tells you something just isn't going to work. So we're not doing the play of the day. Instead, we're going to talk to Teddy Covers. Teddy, it's official. Football season's here. There's no more weekends without NFL, baby. Hall of Fame game is here. And you were saying you just really haven't seen a Hall of Fame game like that last night.
So first, let's start with this. What you said at the top is the single best piece of betting advice anyone's ever going to get. Okay, you've had a rough week with the plays at the start of the show.
Free plays, all client plays can't miss. Free plays, disaster.
Yeah, but when you're struggling, what you don't do is keep throwing shit against the wall. See if it's say, hey, let's take a break. Today we're going to take off. We're going to clear our heads. We're going to come back. We'll be fine. And as a handicapper, there's no better. Like 28 years I've been doing this. Full time, every day. And there's no better piece of advice that I can think of is that when you're struggling, you don't bang your head against the wall. You just take a day off, clear your head, come back, and you'll be 1,000 times. You'll be refreshed, you'll be rested, you'll be ready, and you'll be good to go. So it's worth highlighting what you just said at the top. When it comes to the Hall of Fame game last night, yes. Again, I've watched every Hall of Fame game every year since I've been in Las Vegas. I've never seen a Hall of Fame game like it was last night. Again, these are not offenses that are primed to put up points in bunches in August. Okay, we're talking about third-string linemen. We're talking about quarterbacks who are, not at the top of the pecking order. And yet, what we saw, and the game, I'd under, and I couldn't have been more wrong, Andy. And you talked about you liked over in the game, and you couldn't have been more right. The game started perfectly for an under bet. The dinking and dunking and no time for the quarterbacks to throw. And then all of a sudden, late first quarter, you get a touchdown drive, and you get another, and then you get another, and then you get another, and it's all of a sudden there's this shootout. And the quarterback play was exceptional for a preseason game. The wide receiver play was unbelievable. Nobody dropped anything, dude. Nobody ran a wrong route. The guys were catching 50-yard bombs. It was like, and a lot of it had to do with the defense. Okay. And that's the part of the handicap. I missed that part of the handicap completely. And that is, neither team did anything but the most basic base level defense for the one time, I think it was Carolina ran a stunt. That was the one time they sacked back. I'm like, oh, they got something. But most of the vast majority of the game was as vanilla as defenses get. And when defense is that vanilla, even inexperienced quarterbacks are going to pick them apart. And you nailed the Haynes King with Haynes King's ability to run the football. And that's key in August when you find the QBs who can make plays when the plays break down in the pocket. That goes a long way. So kudos. Anyone had the over. That was a right side. I had a wrong side. The good news about it is I'm not going to have a worse bet than that all year. I won't. And that's last year. So last year I nailed a 5% big ticket on the Hall of Fame game. Nailed it. And my season was not as good as I hoped it would be. So this year I lose Hall of Fame game. Let's see if we can do something right. For what it's worth, I already got lines made for next week. I'm waiting for the markets to catch up. I'm ready for preseason. I'm ready to, and last night, again, you don't freak out about it. You have a wrong side. I got the handicap wrong. It'll happen. It won't be the only time it happens, but you don't want that to become a regular thing.
No, I'm not normally an NFL preseason guy, but I just know last year Trey Lance was going to get a lot of snaps in the very first game, and myself and my team, we were like, Trey Lance, boy, he can run. Like play breaks down. That guy can run. And he did. He rushed all game. And
Over and over
that's
again.
good. That's going to be a theme that I'm going to look at in preseason. Play breaks down. A passing quarterback's going to throw it into the ground. A running quarterback's going to run against a backup defense. So I think that's going to be I think that's just going to be a theme that I look at. Could be right. I could be wrong, but boy, it sure worked for me last year. So before we move on to baseball, do you think maybe there's something about maybe these offenses are just better in preseason? Maybe they're a little bit more prepared. Maybe these backups are really fighting for roster spots. Is there something to be said? Are we looking at overs the rest of the year, or is this just overreacting to one game?
Yeah, let's not overreact too much.
Okay, all right. Just asking.
Certainly,
just asking.
for Arizona, we have a first-time head coach with an offensive background, and it showed last night.
Yeah.
Well, that won't be the case for every team all preseason.
Well, yeah. Well, let's move to baseball here, because don't forget about baseball, guys. There's a lot of money to be made here. We got a couple games to break down. Looks like we're doing Orioles and Rangers and Rays versus Mariners. I love the Tampa Bay Rays, just because the Yankees, the Red Sox, they're awesome. Oh, by the way, the Rays are leading
by margin.
They're great. So let's start with the Orioles and the Rangers. We got Boz going for the Orioles and Eovaldi for the Rangers. What do you make of this game?
So let's start by looking at the odds logic live odds screen. And right now, the Texas Rangers. And by the way, get a free 7-day trial. oddslogic.com/Teddy. And try it out. It really is. I use it every day. I'll just leave it at that. It's a fantastic product. But right now, looking at the odds logic live odds screen, I'm seeing Texas in the minus 145, minus 150 range. There is a fair bit of line variance on this ball game. Total 7.5, juice to the under in this one. And for me, when we talk about baseball after the All-Star break, my number one key factor isn't the starting pitching matchup. It isn't the long-term stats. It's current form. The first half of the season, the pre-All-Star break stuff, largely irrelevant to any daily betting decisions for me, except for valuation questions. The stats are an explanation for why a team is priced where they are or why a pitcher is priced where he is. But you talk about what happened in the first half, I don't care anymore that much. Current form is what matters the most in post-All-Star break baseball. And current form here, let's see, the Rangers came out of the break and they went 6-5 their first 11, then they lost 6 in a row. They got swept in Houston. They got beat up by Tampa. And then they went from leading the AL West to now they're sitting in the third wild card spot. 5 teams that are in between a game and a half for that third wild card spot in the AL. So they had a bit of a skid. And then they won their last 2 versus hapless San Francisco. So current form, struggling versus good teams and still capable of beating weak teams. Nathan Eovaldi's been pretty good. Last home start, 7 innings of 3-hit, 1-run ball. The Rangers 4-0 in his last 4 home starts. He's allowed 3 earned runs or less every time. Baltimore won 3 in a row coming out of the All-Star break. And after that, they haven't won or lost more than 2 in a row. It's been, up and down, up and down. They're a 500 level team, not bottom feeders. They're not good. They're playing 500 level baseball. And it's been very, win a game, lose a game, win 2, lose 2, nothing streak-wise. I don't like what they did at the deadline when you're trading away talent and you're in a playoff race. Rutschman gets traded, Ward gets traded for prospects, and the quotes, from Dylan Beavers. We lost some really good players and teammates. I feel like we have to, unfortunately, go about business as usual and try to win every night. Same kind of deal as before. That's not a positive quote for me, for the Orioles. Shane Baz has been really good. 3 starts in the break. He's allowed 1 earned run on each of the 3. That being said, the Orioles lost all 3. The Phillies, the Braves, the Red Sox, 3 good teams, but they're not beating good teams. Bullpen-wise, not sure either of these 2 bullpens has a significant edge over the other. Home road-wise, there's nothing significant home road for either team. Rangers a couple games above 500 at home. Baltimore, same thing. And both teams a couple games below 500 on the road, but there's nothing significant. It's not like Texas is bet on in Arlington or Baltimore is bet against when they leave Cannon Yards. None of that really matters. So the lean here, with all that being said, is Texas at the favorite price. The Rangers' losing streak is over. Their arrows pointed upwards. Eovaldi's bet on. I look at the Rangers here. Rangers full game. Rangers first 5. Short chalk worth laying.
And then I just love this Rays team. They just they keep quiet. They feel like a Teddy Covers team. Just don't tell anybody that the Rays are 4 games up in their division. They just keep doing what the Rays do. They reload, rebuild. They stay out of the headlines, and now they're 68-46, 4 games up on the Yankees and 5 up on the Red Sox. The Red Sox, they could come out of the AL. Well, they're third. Maybe they can come out of their own division. So we got them facing the Mariners, and the Mariners are in one of the strangest divisions ever. The Astros are leading the division 59-57, and everyone else is below 500. This is one of the weirdest divisions in baseball history. So you got the Rays, you got the Mariners. What are we doing with this game?
Yeah, the AL West feels like the AL Central. Where the AL Central's been in recent seasons. And of course, we're going to start by looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen for Tampa and Seattle. And this game's priced pretty near pick'em. I'm seeing Seattle as high as -120 at a handful of books. Take back on the Rays, in the plus 100 range. Total 7 for this ball game. Juice to the under. Bettors not expecting runs in bunches. Things have gotten ugly in Seattle. All right. I mean, the Mariners are 5-10 their last 15. They just lost 11-0 to the Tigers. All right. That's a far cry away from 1 game away from the World Series like they were last year. This team can hit. They scored 4 runs in 3 games against Detroit. They've been held to 4 or less 12 of their last 15. You have Julio Rodriguez, who misplayed a fly ball against the Tigers, and then they announced he's doing a DJ set tonight. The fans are not amused by that. That said, they got shut out again twice in the last 3 games. They've been shut out 11 times this year. And in general, I don't mind teams that lost 11-0 in their last home game. They got another home game here. It's kind of a statement game the next time out. And for all the disappointments, Seattle's only a game and a half out of the wild card spot. Seattle and Tampa, by the way, both very much home road dichotomy clubs. The Rays are sub 500 on the highway. Right? Even after sweeping Colorado this week, they're still sub 500 on the highway. The Mariners, 7 above 500 at home. So they've been winning at home. Tampa's been losing on the road. And of course, Logan Gilbert. The Mariners 10-2 his last 12 starts, 9-2 in his last 11 home starts dating back to April. So they're winning for him everywhere, and they're winning for him at home in particular. He's got 6 quality starts his last 9 overall. He's eating innings. He's dominated Tampa 2-0 with a 1.4 ERA, 6 career appearances against them. Logan Gilbert is bet on all the way. And the Mariners at home show some bet on, and the Mariners off the 11-0 loss show some bet on. And I still don't want the Mariners in this game. The Rays had yesterday off. They flew in from Colorado, not from across the country, so it's only a 1 time zone differential. And Tampa lost their first 4 out of the All-Star break. They're 12-4 since they swept the Rockies. Junior Caminero saying, I hit 3 home runs in 3 games in Colorado. I like the Mile High air a lot. I want to stay 3 more days here. Not going to be easy, as easy for Tampa. You talk about going from Colorado, a place where balls carry, to Seattle, a place where balls don't carry. I think that's a big negative for Seattle offensively today, or Tampa offensively today. That being said, it's hard. I want to fade Logan Gilbert. I don't want to fade Drew Rasmussen either. Okay, it's 3 starts since the All-Star break. He's given up a grand total of 2 runs. His last 2 starts, 13 innings pitched, 19 strikeouts, 2 walks, 5 hits, no runs. He's been unbelievable, unhittable. Both bullpens, solid form, neither fatigued. Sidewise, this game feels like a pick'em to me. It's priced like a pick'em. It feels like a pick'em. I'm not expecting either team to have a big advantage on the side. But total-wise, the play is the total in this game. Under. First 5 under, full game under. We believe in these pitchers. We don't believe in these lineups today, at least. So I'm expecting a pitcher's duel in Seattle, late night Friday action.
I don't ever want to leave Colorado. I love that.
They'll sign as a free agent there,
Yeah.
And I'm surprised nobody, like a big batter's never done that. To say, all right, I'm going to go hit 50 home runs in Colorado this year and then sign somewhere else. It doesn't happen.
I'll never forget when I was in Vegas, was laying out by the pool, and this couple was laying next to me, and I was kind of dozing in and out. Alcohol may or may not have been involved. But
You were half passed out, is what you're saying?
Pretty much. Yeah. YOLO. But the couple next to me, I just heard, this is so nice. Like, we should move here. It's like, yeah, yeah, sure. Move to the hotel. Every day is like this. It's like being on vacation and saying, oh, we should move here. But that's a great quote about not wanting to leave Colorado when you're hitting home runs. Quick question. Yesterday, myself and Dan broke down the Denver Broncos over under 9.5 wins. I went over the Broncos schedule last year and some of the games that they won, and I thought the number seemed insanely low. And then I just came to the conclusion that the books are telling us a story, and I need to listen. I went under on the Broncos 9.5. I don't know if you've gotten to the Broncos on your research yet, but any thoughts on that?
So I think I have 19 or 20 NFL team previews posted on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Ooh. If you go to my Twitter feed, my feed on X at Teddy_covers, there's a link right at the top of the page. You can go to all of those videos. And I'll tell you this, Denver's loaded. Denver did nothing but do win now moves this past offseason. So we talk about teams that I'm interested in fading, teams I'm interested in betting against. The Broncos are not high on that list. Denver looks loaded. And Bo Nix doesn't have the metrics. He doesn't have the numbers that the betting markets respect. That's a big part of the reason why they're aligned as low as they are, because the markets say, Bo Nix, he's not that good. And all Bo Nix has done at a professional level is make plays when it mattered most in a Caleb Williams type of way for Chicago. Caleb Williams ranked up here, and Bo Nix, people are ranking him much lower. He doesn't have Caleb Williams' arm strength, but Bo Nix has proven to be a winner at both the collegiate and the NFL level, and that means something to me. So you can hear, again, check out those previews on WagerTalk. And if you haven't subscribe right now to WagerTalk TV on YouTube. You get instant alerts when everything goes live. But Denver's certainly a team, in my opinion, that there's a lot more upside. There's everything they're doing is to win this year, and we pay attention to teams that are pushing their chips in the middle and saying, "What we need to win now."
Yeah, I didn't make it a client play. I couldn't say I was confident enough to put my money on, but it was an interesting deep dive on their schedule last year and all the games.
It was super weak. Their schedule was very weak.
It was crazy. Like
New England's was weaker.
Yes, absolutely. So
by a lot.
I know. Oh man, the Broncos and the Patriots. Fascinating deep dives. So you're doing all of your NFL futures. That's one of the things you're known for. What else do you have up at WagerTalk and Wynn's opening line report? Tell us about all that.
Sure. So we have obviously the NFL opening, the NFL season win report is up and available right now on my page, wt.buzz/TC. We have a whole bunch of team preview videos, obviously. From a sales standpoint, like I said, I made my NFL preseason numbers. Now I'm waiting for the market to catch up. As soon as we see the numbers, the betting open for week 1 of the preseason will be in action there. We're in action for MLB for tonight. A single best bet for the clients. We also have a 2% play that is free on my homepage tonight for Cincinnati, Washington, and MLB action. So a pair in MLB. The baseball has been very good. Plus 15 units, 75% over the past 8 days. So we're making money in MLB right now. We're looking forward to making money in football this next week. And obviously the opening line report, the first edition of the 2026 opening line report, will come on Monday. We'll talk about the NFL preseason openers and where we expect these numbers to move. Myself and Kelly in Vegas, live right here, WagerTalk TV, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss it.
Yeah, don't miss it. Put it on your calendars. I never miss an episode of Opening Line Report. It's like when football season starts, it's legit how you start your week. You just listen to Opening Line. So Teddy, cannot wait for that. Thank you very much. And seriously, much appreciated for all the work that you do. Teddy puts in the work. It's one of the guys that will outwork just about everybody. So appreciate you for that. And thank you for all your time. So.
Oh, shucks. Thanks, Andy. Have a great day.
Teddy covers. Yes. Teddy covers. Thank you very much. Let's see. It's a busy day in tennis for us and a busy day. PFL is tonight and we've got UFC tomorrow. So that's what is up at our page. running really hot, guys. Number 1 on last 3 days, number 2 last 7 days, number 1 last 30 days. So we're seeing the board really, really well. We're running specials. I would suggest the 3 days, get 3 free. Shout out to Seth. Seth knows how to go head to head and do bets in the right way. So Seth and I went head to head, and if Seth won, then I had to give him a 3-day pass. If he lost, he had to get a 3-day pass. So Seth is forced to get 6 days of winning plays. What a bummer. Sorry, Seth, you're just locked into a couple of 5% plays. We do have a 5% UFC play that goes tonight, but we're going to be rooting on a lot of tennis. If you want to jump on board, be part of all of our all access action, that's at wt.buzz/AL. Do not get a play or like a 2-team package. Get the 3 days by 6 days, and you get 3 days free. It's $69. It's an absolute no-brainer. Get you from now all the way through the weekend and into next week. We have a lot of auto racing bets coming up. We got UFC, PFL. There's a 4% bare knuckle fighting championship play that is up. So a lot of really, really good things on WagerTalk.com. All right, Marco has just joined us in the nick of time, so we got to bring in Marco. Try not to be prisoner of the moment, Marco. I think that Fever Aces game last night was the best regular season game I watched in WNBA. I can't think of one off the top of my head that was better. It was pure cinema. It was incredible.
I was texting last night with a bunch of friends that actually do like the WNBA like me, and that was exactly what I was saying. Is this is the game of the year, and it might have been, for me, the best game that I've personally watched, as well. And you talk about, everybody says, it's the quality of the WNBA and blah blah blah. We hear all of that. Last night was epic. I mean, you start from 20 points down. Okay. Indiana had a 20-point lead in the second quarter. And then Jackie Young actually, takes over the game. You had 3 different Aces players step up to save them in that game last night, because Jackie saved them in the second quarter, made the run before the half. Then it was Asia that put the team on her back into the fourth quarter that, they kept them in that dogfight. And then here comes Chelsea Gray. I mean, I don't know the shot at the end or to send it to overtime. I don't know how she made that shot with the scramble, the tip, get the ball to her. And then she finds a way to step into the 3. How did she get that shot off, stepping into a squared up 3 when, you got to be defending the perimeter? Unbelievable.
It really was. It was just, it's just that was the WNBA at their best. Like, you had Caitlin Clark, you had Asia Wilson, you just had the career. It was a lot of fun. So we got a couple games going here tonight. Let's see. Sorry, I lost my notes. What's the first game we're going over? Sorry. I'm unprepared.
You're unprepared for
Valkyries
tonight?
Come on. Okay. So Dream and Mystics versus Valkyries and Wings. I got to be honest, the Valkyries, I'm fascinated by their turnaround, but we're going to start with the Dream and the Mystics, because this is the dream team, no pun intended, that I think maybe we thought could have the potential. They've won 6 out of 7, and yet here are the Mystics. They've won 5 straight, not against the worst competition in the league, so I don't think it's that big of a fluke. But you got 2 teams that are on hot streaks, and we see this in the WNBA, ups and downs, and you got 2 teams at the up here. But I like this Dream. I just like this Dream team. I think they got some real bite to them. What do you think? What do you think of this game?
Well, I agree with you about the Dream. And coming into the season, I thought they were going to be one of the teams that was going to contend for the title. I thought they were going to be, they showed signs of it last year. I thought they were going to take that next step. But then they had that mid-season stretch there where they went in that slump. But you know what? We're going to look at this game. And if you remember last week, I talked about schedules, and, I talked about looking at, previous meetings, when they played, what happened, and what the teams are doing currently with scheduling wise, because the WNBA has a lot of quirky scheduling, and, got us 2 wins on the show last week. So let's see if we can do that again. And I'm going to point out Washington is a good defensive team. They like to play slow down offense, and they play good defense. But if you look, they've gone over 4 of their last 5 games. But if you dig deeper into that, it's a result of what the schedule was. Their last 6 games, Andy, they had 2 different sets of back-to-back games. And I've preached about this. I don't like it when these teams play the back-to-back games. They played back-to-back against Golden State. They played back-to-back against Dallas. And when you play a team 2 games in a row, you seem to have a tendency for these games to go off script. And, a defensive team all of a sudden shows up and gives you a couple overs. And what that has done for us now is skewed the total because Washington was such an under team, they kept adjusting the numbers to balance it out. Well, now they're sending the numbers back the other way, overcompensating, and we got value again. And where the value is at is in the first half of this game. If you look at Atlanta, they're 10-3 to the under on the road in their first halves this season. Now, that's a strong angle just by itself. But then I look at Washington and I find that all of their games, whether it's home or away, they're 21-8 to the under in the first half. And if they're an underdog like they are tonight, that goes to 15-4 to the under. That's where I'm going, Andy. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's go ahead and take under. And I'm seeing it like 82.5 for the first half.
All right, taking the under in that game. And this Valkyries team, I didn't see this coming. I've talked to Ski about this one. He was like, yeah, I thought they had some good players and some good moments, but last 6 games, this is your number 1 team defensively and number 4 in offense. That is a recipe to make a run at the championship. They're only a couple games behind your Aces, 3 behind the Lynx, and yet the Wings are only 2 behind the Valkyries. So what are your thoughts on these 2 teams in this matchup tonight?
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Golden State all year. And the reason it starts with their defense. Okay. This is a team that, unlike probably 3/4 of the WNBA, they play defense and they frustrate you. Now, we've seen in recent games, they've shown up on the offensive end. They're getting the job done offensively. Part of that's been some of the teams that they have played. But I look at this Dallas team, and heading into the All-Star break, they were playing good basketball. I've talked about them several times on the show. This is a young team that's just learning how to win. And when they've been installed as a favorite, a lot of times they are winning the games, but not covering the games. But let's just talk, because we've got a number tonight where it's just pick the winner. Okay. We're looking at a number of -1, 1.5. And heading into the All-Star break, they had won 7 of 8 games. Their only loss during that 8-game stretch was a 1-point loss to the New York Liberty. But it's got to be noted that in that game, Paige Beckers did not play, and they still only lost by a point. So they were playing some of the best basketball heading into the All-Star break. Well, coming out of the All-Star break, what happened? The old WNBA schedule jumped up and bit them right in the butts. They've gone 1-3 after the All-Star break. And if you look at those 4 games after the All-Star break, they started with that red-hot Atlanta team that we talked about previously. They had a 1-point gut-wrenching home loss to Atlanta. Then what they had to do, they had to turn around, go on the road, and go to Washington. We talked about that on the show last week. We took Washington in that game. I thought it was a great spot, the old lose the same game twice scenario, and they did. But Dallas had to turn around from the Washington game, fly back home to play Connecticut, only to turn around and get back on a plane and go back to Washington. Why in God's name did they not just play back-to-back games in Washington instead of making them fly back there to play twice in a 3-game stretch? That was just stupid. It was bad spot for them, and that resulted in a 1-3 record. Now I think you're going to see the Dallas team that we saw before the All-Star break. They're back at home. They're focused on this game, and it is a big game because Golden State is the new kids on the block. They're trying to make a statement, but so is Dallas. And I'm going to go ahead and take them here in, I love to look at previous meetings. I know what happened in the past has no bearing on the future, but I like to look for an asterisk in that first game. And you want to talk about an asterisk? When they met the first time, Dallas was coming off of playing a game at home where they won by 30 points against my Las Vegas Aces, 96-66. This was earlier in the season. It was June 15th. They then had to turn around and fly cross country, go to play at Golden State. We talked about those first games of road trips in Golden State, how tough they are for teams. They lost that game by 11 points. This was a young team that was feeling fat and sassy after that big win against the Aces. I think you get a focused team tonight, and we see the real Dallas team. And I'll throw one more at you. We've got an WNBA angle that home teams that are coming off a loss as a favorite, and they're playing just their fifth game in a 14-day period. And the reason they qualify is because they had all those days off for the All-Star break. So this is 5 games or less in 14 days. Those teams in the WNBA since 2022, 66-23 straight up. Go ahead, give me Dallas tonight. We don't have to really worry about the point spread. They just got to win it. And I think this is their statement game tonight. You're muted.
NYC. I know NYC was asking over 161.5. It's amazing how low this total is. What last night? What was it? The total in the Fever and the Aces 194.5.
Yeah. well, your Fever had scored 100 points in 5 or 6 straight games. So yeah, it was going to be. And this is the polar opposite of that. But guys, they've been bringing the totals down on these Golden State games just because this team does, play defense. But right now, I can't get involved in the total. That's the way 2 weeks ago would have been an automatic call for me to look at, the under, especially the first halves. The Golden State games first halves have been dynamite going under. But because they've suddenly found an offense, Andy, we got to recalibrate all of our handicapping with them. And that's a handicapping lesson. Don't lock yourself into something that's, that you've seen because you saw it in the first month of the season. Doesn't mean that's going to be the same situation the whole way through the year.
Yeah, especially WNBA. Player props, especially. I've had a nightmare year. I stopped doing them weeks ago just because they're so up and down with the player props. I cannot get into a flow. So money lines, totals, and spreads for me. So Rob always wants to know your thoughts for the ponies this weekend. Marco, do you have any thoughts?
It's going to be a big Saturday card at Saratoga. I'm going to have several races on my card, which I've been doing the last couple Saturdays. Big race that I am looking forward to tomorrow is the Whitney Stakes at Saratoga. We've got what a lot of people feel is the best horse in the sport right now in magnitude. We've got the Kentucky Derby winner from last year, Sovereignty. And then we've got Baeza, who, if you bet on him as I have the last 2 races, and he's blown the start and spotted the field like 10 lengths, only to come flying at the end and just miss out. He's in that race too. So it's going to be a fun Whitney, and I will have coverage. It will be included at no extra charge in my all access passes. And the best way to do that is grab that 3-day all access. Okay. Buy a 3-day package for $69. That in itself is great because it gets you Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but you're going to get 3 bonus days on top of that. And we have been rolling 14-6 on my last 20 baseball plays, 4-1 on my last 5 WNBA plays. And then you're going to get the horses too. No brainer. Head on over, check it out. Another no brainer is check out Marco's Deli. I'll be recording that after we get done with this show. That'll be up early evening tonight. If you tuned in to WagerTalk Today last Friday, you got the 2-0 from me on the show. Then I come back on the deli and gave you 2 more WNBA winners last week on the deli. So we're reading things very, very well right now, Andy. So let's keep it rolling.
Absolutely. Yeah. Somebody, SF9er asked, is there any sandwiches today? Do you have any sandwiches?
I don't have a sandwich for you, but there was a sandwich spot last night that I gave out at WagerTalk in our free pick section. You want to talk about a sandwich? That was a giant freaking hoagie. I didn't expect them to win outright, but it was a foot long. They got the money easily. I gave out the LA Sparks plus 16.5. You're not going to get a bigger sandwich than you had involving Minnesota. Minnesota was coming off their showdown with the Indiana Fever last Saturday, and they got the Aces on deck tomorrow. Can you get a bigger sandwich than Indiana on one side and Vegas on the other side, and the lowly Sparks in the middle getting 16.5 points? The Sparks win the game outright.
Yeah, you got to sprinkle that money line. Absolutely. So while we have you here, Marco, so yesterday on the show, Yanni and I liked the Fever. The Wise guys liked the Aces. So Yanni and I went head to head against the Wise guys, and we called ourselves the Schmize guys. And so we're going to give away a free 3-day pass. That was our 3-day pass. So whoever picked the Wise guys was eligible, and congratulations to Mac Hudson. You are getting a free 3-day pass who picked the Wise guys. I thought the Schmize guys were looking good when we were up by 20, but the Schmize guys go down. Schmize guys go down. What are you going to do? So, all right, Marco. Well, it's always a good day when you and I are running hot. So take advantage of Marco's plays, and good luck on the ponies this weekend, Marco. Have a great weekend, man, my friend.
All right, guys, let's cash some tickets. I'll see you on the deli later.
All right, Marco D'Angelo. Don't forget to check out his deli, not his actual deli. He doesn't own a deli. I wish he did. Because my God, Carm, can you imagine? Let's bring in Carmine. Carmine, can you imagine if Marco owned a deli? How good?
Yeah, it would be awesome. Listen, he's never even offered me a deli sandwich. I haven't even been invited to his house for the numerous times that I've gone to dinner with him in Vegas. This guy's got a pool. I saw once a crane lifting this hot tub into his backyard. I think he's got like a 1-mile track there too, where he races some horses in between the 1 o'clock and 4 p.m. games of football. But one day I'll get the invite from him.
I having wings with Marco was one of the bucket list things. I got to have wings with Marco out in Vegas, so that was really cool. So first off, have you recuperated from your insane run at the World Cup? Have the books cut you off? Do you have bookies mad at you from all their clients winning all the plays? What's been the aftermath of your World Cup?
It's been good. I took a few days off. We had an account set up at DraftKings because a bunch of Lawrence's friends and mine, they just wanted to follow along. So they all sent me a few thousand, and I loaded into the account and was playing along, and our limits were cut right before the semifinals. Tried to bet the Spain-France game, and we had $18 that we could put on the game. So
a whole $18.
Yes, a whole $18. So I'm thankful. But you know what I mean? I took a few days off, Andy, and you know it. You do this show every single day, and you do an absolutely phenomenal job of it. And then the free play videos and what have you. And, you know, I did like 5 or 6 weeks of daily videos on the shows, loading plays, watching games. I did so much content that I burnt out. I took a few days off and came back, and now the Leagues Cup is going on before the European season starts. And I love tournaments. I don't know what it is, but I'm off to like a 5-0 start in Leagues Cup. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let's talk a couple of these games, and then you're bringing a NFL futures bet. I'm going to break down Colston Loveland, the player prop that was viewer submitted. But let's talk a couple of games here for the Leagues Cup. First off, explain what the Leagues Cup is and break down these games for us.
So every season, all the the Liga MX teams from Mexico and an assortment, not all the MLS teams, of course, because there are 30 plus MLS teams, play in a competition called the Leagues Cup. So the way it's set up is there are two different conferences. One is all the Mexican teams in one is all the MLS teams in another. And the top four, after 3 games in each conference, advance to the quarterfinals, and it's sort of a crossover one from there. You know, one of the toughest things with these ones, and people find it tough. I don't, because I come into these competitions, this one and the CONCACAF Champions League, which is like the European Champions League, but for CONCACAF teams, which is the Mexican teams, some of the other island teams, and of course the MLS teams, is you have to understand the seasons and how they work. So just quickly go over this. Champions League, normally Mexican teams dominate in that because it takes place starting in February and March, and the MLS seasons haven't even started yet. So a lot of the teams are behind the 8 ball. This leagues Cup, MLS teams, and you're seeing them win a majority of the games, and that is because MLS is in the middle of their season, and Mexico has 2 seasons, the Clausura and the Apertura. So they just recently finished one back in May, and then they had like 3 or 4 months off, or a couple months off, and now their new season has just started. So these teams aren't into full gear as of yet, and so the MLS teams have an advantage, I think, in those games, and a majority of the games are being played in the U.S. Although this year a couple of games are being played in Mexico. So you have to look at that when you're handicapping these games and say, like, okay, well, this is a very good Mexican team with a lot of history to it. Why is this line where it is? And understand that they may have only a couple games into those legs and aren't ready for 90 minutes of play. And I've used that thus far to jump out to a 5-0 lead. And then sometimes it's doing research. Seattle played the other night, Andy, in Mexico at Azteca Stadium. And what people didn't know, or they played in Mexico, what people didn't know was that Seattle was missing quite a few players. It wasn't listed anywhere. I was able to, in following the MLS, know that they called up a bunch of their players from their next gen pro team, which is basically like a League 2 team, the Tacoma Defiance. And 3 of them started, and then the bench was like another 8 players. So I knew that eventually they were going to get rolled in that game, and they did. They lost 3-0. They could have lost like 5 or 6-0. So it's identifying those spots and then getting them to your clients and explaining why in the write-up, so they know, and then can see the very next day that is exactly what happened.
Sure. Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. So it's amazing, man. You know, just some of the little things that the books are, and these are the things that the books probably aren't on top of. The books are going to be the first ones to know about a backup quarterback in the NFL, starting, yes. But they're going to know that before any of us. But yeah, the Seattle bench players being replaced with, they're not going to know it. So, all right, you got a couple games for us. Walk us through these 2 games.
Yeah, so the first one is Cincinnati and Pumas, and this is one of those ones where it seems like a square bet, but I just expect goals to be scored in this one, and it's mainly because of the style in which Cincinnati plays. Since the post World Cup, I've just enjoyed watching this team play. Their only loss was in their derby game against Columbus. The Columbus Crew, and that game finished 2-1. But in 6 games post World Cup, they're all overs in their games. There's a 4 goal per game average so far, and they're on a 9-1 overrun at home. They get a Pumas team who didn't play well in their last game, but a team that can score goals. And this one shapes up again when you need the points. You're not going to sit back and look for a point and try and eke out a. The way these are set up, if it's tied after 90 minutes, they go straight to penalty kicks because they need a winner. But instead of getting 3 points for the win, you only get 2 if you win in penalty kicks. So the onus falls on teams to try and win in regulation because there's only 4 spots available into the quarterfinals on the Mexican and on the North American side as far as that goes. I love this player for Cincinnati, Evander. The guy is just scoring goals at will right now. He's got 11 and 17 games for Cincy, and he's scored in 8 of 11 games, including in the last game. He's like plus 135 to score as well, too. The total in this game is 3.25. Now, you might ask, what is a quarter goal? Essentially, that means that if you're betting $100 and you're betting the over 3.25, 50 of it is on over 3 and 50 of it is on over 3.5. So hence the Asian line of 3.25 goals. You could buy it down to 3, but then you'd be paying an enormous amount of juice. I think somewhere in the range of about 160 or 170-ish. I'd rather go with the 3.25. I think they get the 4 goals here. 3-1 wouldn't surprise me. A 3-2 game wouldn't surprise me here.
A Canadian giving us an Asian line in an American and Mexican soccer tournament.
Yes.
It just does not get any better than this here on WagerTalk today. All right. you got another game you want to talk to us about. Yes.
So it is like having a horse from Japan that has a Mexican rider and is trained by an American. There's going to be some kind of communication error along the way with those 3. So you just want to bet American horses with American jockeys. So with that said, Vancouver and Juarez in this one. Vancouver's first place in the MLS in the Western Conference, tied with LAFC. And this is another one in which you do a deeper dive. Vancouver lost their opening game at home 1-0, but it was a game in which I stayed off that game, and mainly because of the fact that Vancouver just came off a game 3 days earlier in which they played LAFC, and that was a 1-1 draw, an evenly played game for them. And I just figured that they were going to rest their players. Obviously, Thomas Muller, who they from Germany, who plays for them now. Brian White, their striker, a U.S. Men's national team player. And I just knew these guys aren't going to be in the starting 11 the day before. So I figured they would rest them for that game, probably bring them on late in the second half, and then play them in this game. And that's exactly what they're doing. They rested those players, brought them on in the 70th minute of that game. It was too little, too late for them. But you're going to get the best starting 11 for Vancouver. This is a very good team playing at home. And they get a Juarez team who I'm not high on. I don't think this team is that great, and they aren't that good on the road. You look at Vancouver at home. They've played 10 games at home. 8 of those 10 games they won by 2+. Sorry, they've won 10 games at home. 8 of those 10 games by 2+ goals, and an overall average in their 10 wins by 2.3 goals. They're favored by 1.5 goals here, and I believe that they get at least a 2, if not a 3-goal victory. I'm looking at something in the way of a 3-1 or maybe even a 4-1 victory for the Vancouver Whitecaps tonight.
All right, we're going to break down an NFL future, but we have a graphic. Ross Benjamin has gotten into AI, and this week Johnny Detroit has gotten into AI. So he has been on a rampage saying, let's make some graphics and do some specials. So Carm, let's put up your graphic, beautiful graphic, crisp and clean. It looks great. Tell us about these specials.
Yeah, I'm loving sort of the AI stuff. It makes an old guy like me actually seem like he knows what he's doing. But three really good promos. Obviously, the one in the middle, the 3+3, is a staple across WagerTalk for all cappers. But buy 3 days, get 3 free. The rest of 2026, all access. And obviously, the new soccer seasons are starting in Europe. And of course, MLS and this tournament, Champions League, Europa League, a lot of tournaments as well, too. NFL, looking for a big NFL season. College football, I had a very good college football season last year. I believe I was 5th amongst all WagerTalk cappers and finished on like an 18-3 run. And of course, NHL hockey around the corner, myself and my co-host, Andrew McInnes, waiting to get Puck Time back on the air. So you're going to get every single play to the end of 2026 on those sports and anything else that I do for that $7.99. And if you just want soccer, $150 off with code YEAR150 off a 1-year soccer all access package. And we had a lot of people that took advantage of the World Cup package, and we had a phenomenal time of it, over 70 units of profit. And even across, since the World Cup's been over, the last 60 days, 78.44 units of profit for me, which is number one at WagerTalk.
Great stuff. Having fun with AI. I will play one for you. This was Carm during the World Cup.
I love that.
The absolute wagon. Yeah. It's a really good one. Really good one. All right.
I almost thought it was a slot machine. I was waiting to hear Buffalo.
We play that whenever someone's on a hot streak, but we tend to curse them. So I want to wait till after the hot streak. So, all right, let's talk Cincinnati Bengals. You got a future on them. What do you like?
Yeah, I'm taking. Listen, I really like this one, and the price has obviously a lot to do with it. Cincinnati Bengals to win the AFC North. I'm not picking them to win the AFC title. I'm not picking them to win the Super Bowl. I think the better bet here is just taking Cincinnati to win the AFC North. I get it. Baltimore is a lukewarm favorite at -105, but you look at it. This is the first year in the Joe Burrow era at Cincinnati where they have the same front five offensive line returning for him. That's never happened in all the years for him. You have Orlando Brown, who's playing the blind side. You have Fairchild at the guard, Karras as the center, Reisner left guard, and then you have Mims on the right edge. They're going to protect him, and he's got the tools. If you can protect him, because he only played 8 games last year after suffering yet another injury. Protect him, and he's going to have a good season. He's got the wide receiving corps on that team. I think the running game is good enough as well, too. It's a very good offense, and they had to be good last year, Andy, because they allowed something like 29.6 points per game. Everyone is always going to say, well, what good is the offense if your defense can't stop anybody? But they've revamped the defense as well this year in the offseason. They brought in some changes. And, of course, everyone's going to sort of look at the whole, well, they did lose Trey Hendrickson as well, too. But I think it's one of those ones where even in losing him, it's a youth movement there as well, too, as far as like their edge rushers and stuff. I like they're pretty deep at safety as well, too. I'm expecting a much better season from them defensively. I think any improvement is an improvement with Cincinnati. And then if you look at it, obviously the things that really stand out is, number one, strength of schedule. They play teams. They have the third easiest strength of schedule, playing teams that had a .450 win percentage last season. And then you look at, I'm a big proponent of, listen, when you look at your schedule, I want to play all of my tough games at the beginning of the season when everyone is healthy. And if you look at Cincinnati, they start their season off by playing Tampa Bay, Houston, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, and then they play Miami. Okay, that's not a tough one. And then they head into the bye week. So, you know what I mean? A tough one. And even if they come out of that at 3-1, which would be saying a lot, or 4-1, they're on their way to winning this division, which probably doesn't get settled to the end because of the games at the end. But you look at the Ravens start pretty easy. Indy, New Orleans, Dallas and Tennessee at home, Atlanta, and then they play Cleveland. But before the Cincy game, and then Cincy goes on a bye week and then comes off the bye week and plays Baltimore. A huge advantage for Cincinnati in that, having a bye week before that, with you looking at the Ravens going through a the Bermuda Triangle, having to play Cincinnati and then Buffalo and then Jacksonville and then the LA Chargers, who may have the best defense in the league as far as I'm concerned. It's tough sledding for Baltimore this year. I say Cincinnati gets it done and wins the division title at +184. You could, because of the schedule, Andy, you could wait it out a couple weeks and get a much better price on Cincinnati. And if you're getting anywhere +200 to 230, 240, you only have to be right a third of the time. So to make this a value play.
That defense was so bad last year. Like you said, just be a little bit competent. A touch competent. So
no.
All right. Carmine Bianco absolutely dominated the World Cup, still crushing it in soccer. So appreciate you jumping on last minute, Carm. Best of luck. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, man. You as well, too. Take care. Thanks, guys.
All right. Carmine Bianco coming in at the last second. We're going to break down an NFL futures. Pretty good day for flex picks today and tomorrow for myself. If you use your flex picks today, it's a good one. Tomorrow, even better, because we got a 5% UFC bet that goes up. Have not decided if I want to put an MLB play up tonight or not. But we have PFL tonight, so we have a lot of plays. So you can get 3 days, free. That's the best special that we're running. That runs out at the end of the month. So limited time to get that one. Number one, look at the leaderboard. Number one, 3 days. Number two, 7. Number one, 30 days. So all access clients doing well. All right, let's break down our viewer suggestion for the futures in NFL. We're breaking down Colston Loveland for the Chicago Bears. JH, I'm wondering if you got an opinion on this one. JH is running the sticks. Appreciate that. 824.5 is the number for the receiving yards. So here are the notes that I have for Loveland. He had 278 in the last 4 games of the season and 118 against the Cincinnati Bengals. So a lot of his production came from 5 games. But he was a rookie, and rookie tight ends traditionally don't do that well. And he got off to a slow start, but he was fantastic down the stretch. He was great in the playoffs against the Packers. Only had 56 yards against the Rams, but it's the Rams. My trouble with getting to the over, there's a couple things. The first is this offense spreads the ball around. It's very successful, but they have a lot of weapons. They have Roma Dunze. They have Luther Burden, who is like the sexy fantasy football sleeper. They have Khalif Raymond that they brought in. Cole Kmet is still there. And don't forget about Swift and Monangai with the running backs. Caleb Williams can use his legs as well. Now, he did lead the team with receiving yards last year, but only 713, and they lose DJ Moore, so there might be some more opportunities there. His average yards per catch got better as the season went along. Any injuries to him, this goes under. I think this is lined about perfect. If he plays 16, 17 games, I think he's so good that he goes over. But this is an offense that has a lot of weapons. They're going to spread the ball out. Any injury and it goes under. There's no way I can take an over on this one, even though he's got the talent to do it. He's got to play all of the games. He's got to lead this team in receiving. So it's a lean to the under. But man, I would love to have this guy on my fantasy team. My very first fantasy football draft is Sunday. And Loveland is a guy I'm looking to target. I'm also looking to target Chase Brown of the Bengals. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is always my guy. I always try to draft that guy in the first one. So, all right. Thanks very much, guys. Great week of shows. Thank you to all the guests. Thank you to you guys in the chat. Don't forget to use your flex passes. Don't forget, we got that 3-day special. You get 3 days free, only $69. It gets you 6 days. We got a monster loaded card for this weekend for, at least for myself and clients. We got auto racing. We got UFC, BKFC, PFL, MLB, WNBA, all that and much, much more. Thank you very much for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Over 250,000 people have already subscribed. Hit the bell. You get notified when shows go live and when videos get put up. We're going to be back Monday to break down everything that happened over the weekend and get you ready for a week of profits. Thank you very much. Good luck on your bets. We'll see you everyone Monday. Take care.